Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
A man from out of state is killed in a state line crash. He was participating in a regional race. An organization holds a pro-life rally at a specific location. This comes after a pro-choice rally over the weekend. And a state line library is putting an emphasis on listening and learning about history. The importance of storytelling on Indigenous Peoples Day. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy. Eric Wilson is off tonight. A Minnesota man is killed in a crash at a state line raceway. 69-year-old Charles Mack was racing at Black Hawk Farms Raceway in South Beloit last night when his vehicle left the raceway and hit a tree. It's unknown what caused his race car to go off the track. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. Several people are hurt after a series of shootings Sunday in Rockford. The latest happened shortly before 11 last night on Kent Street near South Winnebago and Morgan Street. Police say a woman was shot. She is expected to be okay. A few hours earlier, around 8:30, two men were shot on Huffman Boulevard near Williams Park. We haven't received updates on their conditions. Before that, around 6:30, a man was shot in the face on West Street near Morgan. We're told he is expected to recover. All three shootings are still under investigations. No arrests have been announced. If you have any information, call Rockford Police or Crime Stoppers. Over half the state's attorneys in the state have now filed lawsuits against the Safety Act. These lawsuits are the latest step prosecutors are taking to try and force changes to it. The biggest controversy out of the act is eliminating cash bail. State's attorneys believe there are too many restrictions on when someone can be detained or not. Some of the changes they want are included in a proposal by Champaign Senator Scott Bennett. Governor Pritzker says he's open to discussion.
Well, let me start by saying that Senator Scott Bennett introduced a bill that I think is worthy of us looking at all the provisions and deciding which ones of those would be appropriate. Look, I think every law that gets passed is one that deserves to be examined for whether there should be amendments, updates.
The State's Attorney Association is taking a split approach on how they're trying to change the Safety Act. Their leadership team is also negotiating changes to the bill in the legislature. Many voters chose to vote by mail during the pandemic for the first time. Now, the state is giving voters an option to keep doing it permanently. Local election authorities across the state have sent voters applications to opt in to vote by mail for this election, and everyone after. As long as you continue to live at the same address where you registered to vote and don't need to make any changes to your voter registration, you will receive your ballot in the mail every election cycle.
We saw roughly over a little 10% of our registered voters of Sangamon County sign into the program from the first initial mailing. That's a little over 13,000 individuals. We've seen more add to it as they are informed about the program.
Voters can apply to enroll in the permanent vote by mail program year-round. But if you'd like to vote by mail for this upcoming November election, you do need to return your application by November 3rd. The election day is November 8th. The GOP hopeful for Illinois Lieutenant Governor makes a stop in Rockford. Stephanie Trussell joined pro-life protesters outside a proposed Auburn Street abortion clinic late this morning. The Rockford Family Initiative organized the Keep Rockford Pro-Life event. Those on hand held signs, others prayed together. Trussell says being against abortion isn't extreme.
I know we get painted as these extremists, and it's just so opposite. I would just encourage people to sit and come to a rally like this where you just meet the most amazing people, a bunch of people sitting around praying. How is that extreme? And that's what we have to do. He who controls the language controls the argument, who's screaming the loudest.
There's no official opening date yet for the Auburn Street Clinic, but volunteers say they've been prepping on how to interact with protesters. On Saturday, there was a Our Choice, Our Vote rally at Rockford City Hall. Current Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton was the keynote speaker. It was one of hundreds of events nationwide that were part of Women's March. Racial justice, LGBTQ rights, and abortion were all topics addressed by speakers.
where we are raising our voices here in Rockford, loud enough to be heard all the way in Washington, D.C., to say we will not go back. We will not be silenced. Abortion is health care. And here in Illinois, we trust women.
Saturday's event was organized by Women's March Rockford. For the third week in a row, gas prices are up in the Rockford area. On average, a gallon of gas will set you back $4.32 a gallon. That's up more than 26 cents from a week ago, and it is higher than the national average at $3.92. Last week, OPEC announced it would cut production by 2 million barrels a day. Since that decision, oil prices have surged 20%. There is some good news. Experts say refinery issues in the West and Great Lakes are improving. That could help prices tick back down. Christmas shopping season is quickly approaching, and so are holiday shopping scams. Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot, and other major retailers will start offering early Black Friday deals online this week. The Better Business Bureau says hackers will be trolling the internet. They'll be looking to prey on unsuspecting shoppers. The BBB says you should take extra precautions to avoid phishing scams, misleading advertisements, and lookalike websites. Avoid sites with misspellings and bad grammar. Read online reviews and check the contact information for each website. And remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Today is Indigenous Peoples Day. Families visited the Rockford Public Library to learn more about the history of Indigenous people in the Rockford area. There was a story time, guest speaker, and dreamcatcher craft. Organizers say it's important to amplify the voices of Indigenous people. The library is a perfect place for storytelling and listening.
It's something that I wish I would have known more about growing up when I was younger. I think history books only can share so much with us. A lot of our history books are out to date as well. So it's nice to get a living and breathing person to show, like Native Americans still do exist. They play an important part in our society.
This is the first year for the event. The day is part of the library's plan to celebrate diversity in Rockford. There are only a few days left to nominate your pick for a 2023 Golden Apple Award. Any pre-K to 5th grade teacher in Boone or Winnebago counties is eligible. Then 20 finalists will be selected in December. In April, the 5 winners will be named. The award includes scholarships, stipends, and other resources to enhance their classrooms. You have until 5 p.m. Thursday to make your online nomination. We have a link to that at mystateline.com. Eyewitness News is Golden Apple's official TV partner. A University of Chicago professor is among the recipients of the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences. Professor Douglas Diamond was one of 3 winners announced this morning. He's a professor of finance and has been a faculty member of the University of Chicago Booth School of Business since 1979. His work showed how government guarantees on deposits can prevent a spiraling of financial crises. Diamond is sharing his prize with former Fed Chair Ben Bernanke and Professor Philip Dybvig. The prize is worth about $900,000 and will be delivered in December. Life-threatening flash floods and mudslides are expected in parts of Central America today. 15 inches of rain are in the forecast. It's the aftermath of Hurricane Julia, which was downgraded to a tropical storm after striking Nicaragua yesterday morning. Winds reached up to 85 miles per hour. The area was evacuated before the storm hit. Power and communications had been cut to some areas. Julia took roofs off of houses and knocked down trees in Colombia the day before. 11 days after Hurricane Ian caused massive destruction in Florida, people are returning home to the Fort Myers area. 94 people are now confirmed dead statewide, and there are still worries that floodwaters may be toxic. Many places in the area still don't have power or water service, but there are shower trailers, hand washing stations, and portable toilets.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
What a beautiful view looking up the Rock River here. Our Supply Corps camera brought to us by Window World over downtown Rockford. The color just really popping when you get a good view of those leaves. Just gorgeous with our warm afternoons, our cool nights, the dry conditions too. We are getting a little too dry though, as we haven't had rainfall, any measurable rain in over 2 weeks. That changes a little bit tomorrow and Wednesday, but not looking like these totals will be significant. In fact, at most, maybe just around ½ an inch. But we are going to stay pretty dry for the rest of this evening. Temperatures, too, look at this. With the sunshine we had following some of that thick fog early this morning, we were able to warm into the low 70s, up to 70 in Freeport, 72 in Rockford, 69 right now in Rochelle, and you sit at 70 degrees currently in Dixon. We've had a few clouds pop to the north and to the east. Otherwise, our skies are going to stay mostly clear here as we go through the rest of this evening. Cloud cover does eventually increase, however, as we've got our next system that'll work in during the day tomorrow. This will increase that moisture from the south. So you see the cloud cover and the showers building across the southern plains. That does quickly advance in our direction by tomorrow morning. Initially, all we see from that is just an increase in the cloud cover. So let's time this out with Futurecast. Notice the clouds gradually increase tomorrow morning. We'll still see some sunshine though. Winds will turn to the south for the afternoon. Temperatures tomorrow will start off in the mid 40s, but then warm into the upper 60s, low 70s. We are still pretty dry, and I think we will stay mostly dry through about at least noon tomorrow. May get a spotty shower in a couple of spots mid to late morning, but again, mostly dry conditions through at least the noon hour. Getting into the afternoon, a couple of scattered showers are possible, especially south and southeast of Rockford, just as that moisture works to increase during the day tomorrow and tomorrow evening. Well, we've got a few scattered showers out there tomorrow. There is going to be some dry time. Wind, however, is going to pick up quite a bit. We've got some dry time going through Tuesday evening, but a cold front coming in during the overnight will bring back that rain chance. And with that early Wednesday, could actually hear a couple rumbles of thunder with a few heavier bursts of rainfall. We'll hang on then to some scattered showers through at least noon on Wednesday. Drier air working in behind that cold front will get temperatures back into the 60s on Wednesday afternoon. Does get windy. We've got another cold front that comes in Wednesday night, and that's actually where we see that temperature drop. In fact, our numbers will drop here. We've got one cold front that comes through Wednesday morning. Second cold front comes in Wednesday night. Temperatures will go from the 70s we've had out there today and tomorrow to highs only making it into the 50s once we get into the end of the week. And I mentioned the wind too. That does pick up, not so much for tonight. Wind will stay somewhat calm. Patchy fog will be possible. I don't think it'll be quite as dense as what some of us woke up to this morning, only because that wind speed is going to be increasing a little bit through sunrise tomorrow. Notice we'll have some gusts at around 15 to 20 miles per hour. As we go through the afternoon, winds could gust as close to 30 to even 35 on Tuesday. We'll maintain that southerly wind. It'll shift a little more to the west and northwest on Wednesday. Still, though, gusts at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, and that wind will stay with us on Thursday. That's really where the chill comes in. Temperatures on Thursday only in the 50s. So 47 for us tonight. A beautiful evening. Some patchy fog overnight. Sun will set here at 6:23. Tomorrow we're back up to 73, but unfortunately that cloud cover will increase as we go throughout much of our Tuesday. A couple of showers for the afternoon. Rumble of thunder possible Tuesday night, early Wednesday. Any risk for stronger thunderstorms right now looks to kind of stay to the west of us. Could have some storms with maybe some small hail though Tuesday into early Wednesday. 53 on Thursday, down to 32. We still have some wind, but some patchy frost possible. And notice those temperatures will stay on the cooler end here as we get into next weekend.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
And the Bears did not get a win yesterday, so why are many Bears fans feeling a lot better today than they have at any point this season? It's because they finally saw progress yesterday, most of it coming from Justin Fields and the offense. Both made big strides to the point where the Bears were finally watchable. Sure, the line is still shaky at best, and aside from Darnell Mooney, the wide receivers still aren't giving the Bears much of anything. And Fields is still too inaccurate on his short and medium throws. But Fields looked much more like an NFL quarterback in this game. He didn't play scared. He didn't look like he was afraid to make a mistake. And the Bears coaching staff didn't get scared. They actually let Fields take some shots downfield. They threw off their conservative cloak and took some chances. This season isn't about whether the Bears finish with 5 wins, 6 wins, or even 8 wins. It's about the development and growth of Fields in the offense and knowing that Fields is the Bears quarterback going forward. Let's see more of the growth that we saw yesterday. I wonder if Devonte Adams would like a do-over on his decision to leave the Packers and go home to the West Coast to play with the Raiders. The Packers could sure use Adams right now, and I wonder how happy Adams is playing for a 1-3 Raiders team that'll probably be 1-4 after they play the Chiefs tonight. Adams' stats are strong through 4 games. He is on pace where his numbers across the board will be only slightly less this season than they were over 17 games last season. So individually, things are good. But if the Raiders finish 6-11 or worse, I can't see Adams being very happy. I know there's no place like home, but Adams will be retired in a few years and he'll have the rest of his life to spend in California, where he's from. Perhaps he could have stuck it out a few more seasons in Green Bay. Well, the Fighting Illini's win over Iowa Saturday has them thinking Big Ten West Championship, and why not? Their 2-1 conference record has them tied with Purdue for the top. Over their remaining 5 games, I have them going 3-2, 2-3 at worst. A 3-2 record the rest of the way would put them at 5-3, which this year would probably be good enough to win the West. They have a key game against Minnesota this Saturday and a key one 2 weeks after that against Purdue. If they take those 2 games, they will be the West champs.
Nice weekend and a pretty day today, too. I mean, we actually do need some rain. It's pretty dry out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been good because we've been able to get out in the fields and do a lot of harvesting. So there's been a lot of beans and corns that have been going down. But yeah, we need the rainfall. You don't want to get too far into fall. And then when you start to think about winter, into a deficit and stuff like that. So rain is coming. It's just not necessarily going to be a lot for the afternoon tomorrow. Same thing on Wednesday, too. A couple of scattered showers will be possible. Might see actually a better chance for rain early Wednesday. And then again, Wednesday late evening. Temperatures drop though by the end of the week.
All right, thanks Candace, and thanks for joining us. Have a good evening.